Hi, everybody. It is Tammy P, ads and marketing expert. I hope everybody's doing great today. Today is Thursday, February 20th, and I'm going live with you today on what's working right now when it comes to marketing. So I want to talk about what is actually working in marketing in 2025. And I'm going to give you guys a little hint, right? Whether you hear people saying things work or not in 2025, what you can do is you can look at what I'll use the word, I'm going to use the word influencers are doing as an indication of what's working right now. So I know that a lot of people say, like, oh, live streams. I heard this just last week or something like that. Hi, Arena. Hello. Happy you got on today. Yeah, give me a hashtag live, hashtag replay if you're here live or on the replay. But anyway, I want everybody to look at an indicator for what is working in 2025 is looking at what I'll call influencers or people who are online or people who have larger followings online as an indicator to what's working right now. Okay. So if you see, for example, like, oh, you know what? Somebody said lead magnets don't work. Like I can't use lead magnets anymore, right? But then you noticed, as an example, which I do, that Amy Porterfield is still using lead magnets and talking about them in her business. Well, she's got a huge following, right? So that would be an indicator that is something that is still working. It's an effective marketing strategy, right? And I think, one thing I want to share is, like, a lot of times people believe, like, oh, I tried something one time and it didn't work, right? You tried it. But still, if we can look at what people who have larger marketing accounts are doing, right? People who have followings on Instagram, as an example, or Facebook or YouTube are doing, that's an indicator for what's working, right? So one example that I'll give you is I was looking at, because I'm going to create a new lead magnet, right? So I've been sort of brainstorming ideas for creating a new lead magnet for myself. Like last week. So all I was doing was actually paying attention, scrolling on the feed on Instagram, scrolling on the feed on Facebook, and really looking at what people are running right now, what types of lead magnets, whether it's an ad or they're just promoting it via email or something else, right? And that's an indicator of what type of lead magnet is working, right? So I would just take note, okay, this one looks really good, that one looks really good, as ideas to get things going for myself, right? And then I would write down, well, it looks like these types of formats of lead magnets were working. And I had this as a question. I had my accelerator call today, which is my group coaching call for some of my students. And we were talking about lead magnets because I have some clients that are kind of brainstorming new lead magnet ideas right now. And so they were asking, well, what is really working? And I was saying that I felt like, I don't feel like, I know that quizzes are wildly popular, right? And they are great. I like quizzes. And somebody was asking, like, okay, what do you think of quizzes? I like them, but here's the problem with them as a lead magnet. One is the technology behind setting up a quiz is very complicated, right? And so I know that most people that I work with are not tech oriented, right? And so setting up a quiz for tech is going to be a little bit of a barrier. The other thing that I see about quizzes is that they are expensive. So the software itself to have a quiz is expensive. So most people, I would probably say, unless they're at a certain stage of their business, actually shouldn't even do a quiz, just because then you're going to be adding on software costs when you could set up a lead magnet for yourself in a different way that wouldn't cost as much money. So that's one example. But the third reason why I really don't like quizzes is because, they don't convert on ads. And, I like creating things that work with ads. Not that I don't market organically. Like, this is an example of how I market my business organically by showing up live for you guys every single week, right? But I will tell you that I don't love quizzes because they don't give me good results when running ads, meaning like they attract a lower quality lead, right? So for most people, I would actually not recommend starting with a quiz. There's way better ways to do lead magnets that are not complicated and don't cost money. That's just one example that came up today. yeah, so thank you, Irina, for coming in. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I'm excited. But she says, yes, I was just looking at quizzes. Too funny. It was just literally about thinking about the quizzes. Yeah, it came up on my call. So maybe I was reading your mind, which maybe so. So the next thing I want to look at and I want to talk about is like, what is actually working in marketing in 2025, because things have changed. And in marketing in general, like we're never standing still when it comes to marketing, right? It's never a situation which we're stagnant, right? We're not kind of working on new things. And one thing that came up this week, I was talking to a client and she's really got her going on Canva. Like I love Canva myself. I'm sure everybody online uses Canva, but one of my clients actually showed her Canva. She didn't know much about it. And she's really like taken off with it. She's doing great. Canva, on a side note, is fabulous for creating ads, creating your social media posts, all the things. On a side note, guys, if you guys hear some squeaking in the background, that is my 2 dogs that I'm taking care of. This week, I have my dog, who's Lulu, who's a Boston Terrier. And then also for 2 weeks, I'm babysitting a Frenchie named Ollie. So right now, behind scenes, they're actually playing and making loud noises. So if you guys hear squeaking, that's what it is. So one indicator when we're looking at marketing, right, for 2025 and what's working right now, I just look at what people are doing. So I'm constantly, because marketing is the world that I play in, right? I love ads. I love doing ads. I'm actually really getting involved in doing more funnels through my Funnel Club platform, but also marketing in general. I'm looking at trends, what's working now in 2025, right? And so I am paying attention to leaders. I'm looking at marketing leaders in the industry to see what they're doing, because my assumption is if marketing leaders in the industry are doing certain things, that those things are working, right? Because one thing that we don't want to do is we don't want to do marketing that doesn't work, right? And I'll give you guys another example. It's back on the lead magnet topic here for a second. One of my clients this week was actually talking about how she wanted to test ads to run to 2 different lead magnets, right? So she's running 2 different ad campaigns right now. She's testing 2 different lead magnets, 2 different formats. I think one's like a checklist and one's like a guide or something like that, right? And then she's going to be running ads to list build, to grow her email list in the month of February, maybe into a little bit of March. And then from there, she's going to launch her program. And so she was asking, like, what are the benefits of running, testing out 2 different lead magnets? And I said, it's great to test out 2 different lead magnets, but at the end of the day, you want to see which one converts. And a lot of times people will say to me, like, lead magnets don't work anymore. And again, if we're looking at what industry leaders are doing, nobody's not doing a lead magnet. Therefore, the answer is lead magnets do still work, right? Easy to figure that out. But you do want to look at, and I think this is where people don't follow through entirely with their marketing and entirely with their sales and what's working. Looking at what's working in your marketing and adjusting it or leaning into what is working is a key component of marketing, right? And so my answer to her when she asked me the question, should I be running this lead magnet and that lead magnet leading up to my launch in March? I said, absolutely, she should, right? She's got to put budget to both and test them out. But at the end of the day, based on her conversions, right? So let's say she sells 10 of her program in March. Did any of those leads come from the lead magnet, right? Are we converting on the back end? Are we getting sales on the back end of people coming in through our lead magnet? And this can go for anything that we're doing, right? We do want to look at what's working, right? And look at the back end, the metrics behind it, the numbers. I think a lot of times with marketing, people get super emotional about marketing. It's like, I tried it one time, it didn't work, so I'm just going to go abandon and do something else. I tried to do a live stream one time and it didn't work, so now I'm going to go do a podcast. And we don't allow it to work, or we don't look at what's working and adjust accordingly. A lot of people that I know that have gotten like their stuff to work, right? And I always come up with the example of ads, because ads are the simplest way to know if something's working faster. You can absolutely, if you have a good organic following, meaning like maybe you have a decent amount, let's say you have like 5,000 people on your email list and you come up with a new thing, like a new lead magnet as an example, you can send it out and see, do people want it? That's one indication, right? But if you don't have a big email list, or if you don't have a big social media following where you can get 100 people where you can test out whether something's working or not, ads are an easy way to do that. But looking at the metrics behind it and knowing your numbers so that you know accurately whether something worked or not. I was actually looking at one of my courses I was selling last year, right? So I was selling a course called 5 ad courses for 25. One of my backgrounds, or one of the things that I am kind of known for, some things that I do, is I'm always creating courses, right? So I've been a course creator since 2020. I'm currently creating courses. There's never really a month in which I'm not creating courses and content for my students. But the thing that I wanted to bring up is that when we're talking about, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here. Oh my God. I'm like, I've got so much going on up in my brain, but what was I talking about here? When we're talking about lead magnets, as an example, we want to make sure that we're looking on the back ends. We want to look at the metrics on the back ends of our ads. We want to look at the metrics on the back ends of our email to see, are we getting a good open rate? Are we, are people actually doing the thing that we want them to do? Oh, now I'm remembering. Sorry, guys. It's been like a whole day of like working, but so my 5 ad courses for 25. All right. Sorry, that was a little bit of a tangent there, but that's all good. That was one of my best selling courses. And I realized, like, okay, currently I'm not selling it, but people really loved it. Like it was good. So I've been thinking about what is a way in which I can automate selling my 5 ad courses for 25, because it's already a proven offer, right? And I already know if I run ads to it, as an example, it will convert because a lot of people have bought it, right? And so if you don't know the answer, like, is my offer good? Is this marketing tactic going to work? Obviously, the best way is to put it out there. The easiest way to put it out there is to put it out to your email list, because social media, unless you have, I don't want to say unless, because that feels negative, but it's harder to know if you're going to get, if it's going to work, if you're going to get the results, because on social media can be like a little bit slower to know if something is working or not, unless you're running ads to it, because most people just don't have a large enough social media following where they could put out, let's say, a lead magnet or a mini course of some kind and know within like a week or two whether people want it, right? So for me, if I'm beta testing, let's say I was back in the phase of beta testing my 5 ad courses for 25, I would put it out to my email list and see if anybody wants it, right? And if I do get conversions, then that would be an indicator, okay, people want it, and that would be something that I could run ads to and test whether people, will buy it, and what that conversion rate is. So a couple of things as far as trends that I'm seeing with marketing is that, one, people are still selling courses, right? People are still selling courses. There's still coaching programs out there. I think, and on the course front of things, I've actually been thinking about leaning back into selling some of my courses again, because right now I have, different offers available. And the reason I have different offers available is to have, so that people have different opportunities at different price points to work with me, right? So what I realized is not everybody, let's say, as an example, can come into my accelerator program, which is one of my group coaching programs, but I could offer them a self-study course where they can still learn something, right? And they can still also experience what it is like on a really micro level to work with me, right? And so I still like courses, just to let you know. I still think like communities and memberships are big right now, like low ticket communities and memberships. I'm seeing that as well. And I do think group coaching is still great if it is if it's more hands-on, right? So my group coaching, my accelerator is more hands-on, meaning like I provide tech support. I provide marketing support where they can come onto a call with me and actually get something figured out, versus like we're just talking about it or I'm just teaching you, right? I have teaching components of my group coaching, but I also have very hands-on office hours. People just want to be helped, okay? So, doing programs in which more people can be helped, whether it's at scale or whether it's more of a one-on-one situation, both are still really good. I think just people, I think in general, what I'm seeing is we're getting overwhelmed, especially in the industry that I'm in, as far as like ads and funnels and marketing. They want help. And so I'm creating programs in which I can help them, right? That's really what it comes down to. So sorry, you guys, I I think my dogs like knocked off my my situation here, so I can't. I unplugged my computer here, but I'm still going live, so it's all good. I've got some wild dogs here. With having two, I used to have two dogs on a side note, and yeah, I'm kind of getting used to having two dogs still. Really funny. So the last thing I want to talk about for today is I want to talk about other trends that I'm seeing. So I'm still seeing that workshops or webinars of some kind work really well. And some of my clients, so meaning like when I say webinars or workshops or masterclass, whatever terminology, it would be a situation where somebody would come into your Zoom room for like an hour, and you put up some slides or teach something for an hour and then make them an offer of how you can work together, right? At the simplest form. So workshops, webinars, etc., still work really well. I'm seeing, the leader entrepreneurs running ads to them. And in that format, they can also be live or evergreen, right? So I'm seeing both formats working, where you're teaching a workshop live as an example, mostly online on Zoom, could also do it in person. And then also you could take that live workshop and turn it evergreen, and run ads to it. So I have one client right now who's doing that, probably a couple actually, where they had a really successful workshop in December, and they got conversions, meaning like at the end of the workshop, people bought the program, right? And so they now have validation that people will buy off the workshop. So once you have validation that people will buy off the workshop, then you can take that workshop and make it evergreen, meaning make it automated, so that people can just come in off of an ad or something else and then watch that workshop and then buy the program, and it's all automated. So that's evergreen version. I don't recommend turning a webinar evergreen until you have it converting as a workshop. So those are still working really well, workshops. And again, I think workshops over webinars, if I'm thinking about it for a second here, I like the word workshops. I'm going to use the word workshop when I get my workshop together, just because it feels more hands-on, and I tend to be more hands-on. Like I don't want people to come on a 60-minute call with me and not learn something, right? That's a really important piece for me. The other ones that I see are 3-day challenges. So 3-day challenges work really well. And again, I ran a 3-day challenge for about a year and a half, ongoing every single month for a year and a half. It just gives you an opportunity for your audience to be super engaged with you. Typically these 3-day challenges are taught live, and they still work really well. So it's almost like, think of a workshop but teaching it in a 3-day format. Sometimes those are paid and sometimes they're free. You could try both, right? For me, I ran a free 3-day challenge for about a year and a half straight, and that worked really great for me. On the back end of lead magnets, like the purpose of a lead magnet and why we need to run a lead magnet is because that is list growth, right? So one thing that I do see is important. I do see a lot of leaders in the online space talking about the value of list growth. The reason being, and I'm going to this is like the dipping my toes into this topic, but the main reason why is because you own your email list. And I'll say this over and over and over and over. You guys will hear this from me probably over the next month or two, and I'll keep repeating it so everybody can understand. When you grow your email list, that is an asset in your business, right? If you have your account and you're totally focusing, let's just say on Instagram as an example, but you're not until you're growing you're growing on Instagram, but you don't have a strategy in place for growing your email list off of Instagram, then we don't own social platforms. So if anything ever happens, cancel, clear, delete, you don't have a way to communicate to your audience, right? So if, as an example, you're focusing on Instagram growth for 2025, make sure to have a strategy for growing your email list through Instagram, if that makes sense, right? And there's lots of things I can teach around that. I can roll that out probably over the next couple months here, guys, because there is different things that we can do, while we're growing our Instagram channel, to actually also simultaneously be growing our email list, right? Important piece, because if you have, whatever, 5, 10, 15, 50,000 people on your Instagram, but you have only 1,000 people on your email list, got to be focusing on the email list growth. So there's automations that we can put in in our business, which I'm a huge fan of doing automations in business. Automations, by the way, if you have no team or a really small team, really helps you not have to do as much of the manual stuff that takes up a lot of time in business. Administrative takes a ton of time, in my opinion, in business. Also, if we don't have those automations set up, and that's where I'm really leaning in with my clients as well, doing the ads, doing the funnels, and even doing the marketing. What areas can we automate, right? So there's things that you can do to automate your Instagram so that you can be also collecting emails and owning your email list. So if you don't have a strategy in place for growing your email list on a consistent basis, there's lots of different ways we can do that, not just one way, but I definitely recommend it. Okay. So that is that for today. In this live, my weekly live stream went through what are the marketing trends for 2025, what I'm seeing as marketing trends, what I'm observing as marketing trends in 2025. I'm really leaning into my ads, building out more of my funnels, building out more of my automations, even automating some of my or batching and automating some of my marketing as well. So those are things that I'm working on right now. Lots of things. So I go live, by the way, every single week. This week I was supposed to go live at noon, but it didn't happen because I was busy doing other stuff. For the most part, I'm going live Thursdays at noon Eastern, but I am going live every single week. So when I go live, I stream on 8 channels, including my Facebook, my LinkedIn, my YouTube, Instagram, and all the things. So I hope you guys enjoy this week's live episode, and I will be back next week. I'll see y'all next week. And Irina, thanks for joining me live. Bye.